AiTA for evicting my son and his pregnant girlfriend because he wants his real dad and not me? When my son was 10, I caught my wife cheating and got a divorce. I tested all my children and 3 were mine, but my oldest 10-year-old son was not. I was mad, but eventually got over it and did not want to TRWAT him separately than his siblings at first. Unfortunately, his mom told him about his biodad against our agreement, and at 18 he started regularly calling and speaking to him. Well, he 20 now and he got a girl pregnant. Since she had nowhere to stay, I decided to let her move in with my son so they could continue going to college while raising their kid. Well, my son's relationship with his biodad really took off, I guess. The emotions and everything all came to a head recently at the child's baby shower, wherein he gifted his biodad a shirt that said Grandpa on it. Moreover, he has started occasionally calling me by my first name even in front of our other kids. He has sort of made it clear to me that biology is more important than the man who raised him. So instead of giving them a gift on the baby shower, I quickly drew up a 30-day eviction notice after a quick call with my attorney and replaced my present with that. I am just tired of the disrespect. But apparently he did not see it coming because he was completely blindsided. I should also add that I have overheard him saying other things like, "My real dad was a Marine," and stuff when he thinks I am not home. I told him to go live at his real dad's house if he wanted. The only reason he doesn't live there now is because it's a single-bedroom apartment. I am also going to stop paying his tuition next semester and just kind of cut him off completely. Am I the asshole for evicting my son and his pregnant girlfriend because he doesn't think of me as a dad anymore? Son, you're not my dad. You're not the grandfather to my children. My real dad was a Marine. Stepdad. Okay then, go to your real dad if you want help. Son. Less than surprised Pikachu face. ... You for not talking about your feelings sooner to your son. Your son for not realizing how much his comments hurt and relying on your help while simultaneously trying to erase your relationship with him. Everyone sucks here. Does he even know that you are hurt by him not calling you dad anymore? If he has never lived on his own, then he has no idea how much he has relied on you. His actions were insensitive, but he might have been oblivious to that. But also, serving an eviction notice during a baby shower? During a pandemic? It seems like you chose the most dramatic time you could to ruin this man's life. Do you really think of him as your son, while willing to do that? I doubt it. Info. Have you ever spoken to your son about your relationship with him? How you feel about his relationship with his bio father? About what living agreements after he turned 18? After his girlfriend moved in? Were there conditions, rules? Rent? Did you talk to him about your feelings toward being seen as his dad versus his relationship with his bio father? Yeah, I see why you're hurt, but it's obvious you're doing this out of pure spite and anger and to hurt him, and his girlfriend and child, and that makes you an asshole. I really think you are the asshole here. Your feelings are hurt, and that is understandable, but he is allowed to have a relationship with his biodad, too. Once he has this baby and understands the magnitude of everything you've given him, I think he will see you in a different, more appreciative light. Kicking him and his pregnant girlfriend out while also telling them he can pay for college on his own is really harsh. You gave them an eviction notice as a baby shower gift? Come on, man. You're just trying to be mean at this point. Again, your feelings of being hurt are valid, but you can't dictate how he feels about his biological dad. Not the asshole. There is definitely some issues there. He needs to respect you, especially since you raised him. Basically, he wants some other person to be his father and his kid's grandfather, but he expects you to pay for his tuition and housing. No way. Stand your ground and let's see how his real father helps him. People have a lot of parental issues on here. They will assume that you treated him like shit and whatnot. Only you know what happened, so be reflective and then decide. Everyone sucks here, him for not considering the man who raised him. You for not sitting him down and talking to him. You two are way overdue for a long talk. Info. Have you spoken to him about how he's disrespecting you and the whole biodad, dad thing? Not the asshole. Your son has made it perfectly clear where he stands and you are merely refusing to be a doormat. Not the asshole. He's an adult now and doesn't treat you with respect in your own home. Let him deal with his consequences of being a father without his not real father support. You are the asshole. You just proved to him you never saw him as your real son by throwing him out like trash. He sounds like a 20-year-old dealing with a lot of shit at once and trying to manage it all under the burden of 3 adult parents. who or throw their own conflicting emotions, agendas, and expectations on him. Probably trying to keep everyone happy. Most likely, like most kids, assumed his dad, you, would let the most slide cause he took for granted that a real dad would always be there through the bumpy journey. You are the asshole, not for being angry or hurt by your son's relationship with his bio dad, which by the way he had every right to pursue, but for how you handled it. Ruining their baby shower by gifting them an eviction notice was rather cruel, and now they won't have good memories of that day because you decided to make your conflict with your son a public spectacle. You're upset that he seems to be choosing his bio dad over you, and yet you went and created a situation that will only further encourage him to do so. If you cut him off entirely, then you're basically disowning him, and your relationship will probably be done for. I think you need to decide if that's what you really want. Not the asshole. He has two real parents. Let him and his girlfriend live with one of them. I know your feelings are hurt, but to cut off your son like this seems extreme. On the other hand, he is an adult, is soon to become a father, and he needs to step up to adult responsibilities. Putting aside the bio dad issue, it's not inappropriate to cut off a 20-year-old with a kid on the way. Info. Did you ever actually tell him how you felt about all of this or try to talk about it with him? Not the asshole. He said you're not his real dad and he's an adult. Not the asshole. You raised him and continued to treat him as your own well after you found out he isn't yours. You even continued taking care of him after he was old enough to take care of himself. I can understand him wanting to build a relationship with his bio dad. But wanting a relationship with him doesn't mean he gets to disrespect you. Even if he was your bio son, you're still not the asshole for what you did. He's an adult. He shouldn't be relying on you or this other dude to take care of him and his new family. I'd go with ESH, but you're taking out all your anger and frustration at your ex-wife and your son, so I have to go with you or the asshole. Have you ever even spoken to him about the wrench thrown into his life a couple years ago? Have you, as the adult, ever tried to figure out what's been going through his mind since he found out he didn't grow up with his biological father? He has an incredible amount on his plate preparing to be a new father during a pandemic, and you're making it exponentially more difficult by taking away his home and education. Learn how to have an actual conversation and grow up. Edit. Fixed a typo. Not the asshole, at least from what you have written. It sounds like you are tired of being disrespected and have had enough. Good luck. Not the asshole. You raised him, you provided and continued to provide for him even after he got his girlfriend pregnant and didn't have places to go other than yours. But that isn't enough for him and he wants his sperm donor to be his kid's grandpa, not you? Bruh, that's so fucked up. You are the asshole for doing this so passive-aggressively. You've had plenty of time and opportunity to talk to him about how disrespectful and hurtful it is to hear him talk about his bio dad like that when you're the one who raised him and who's paying for his upkeep. I can't fault you for how you're feeling about this, but blindsiding him with an eviction notice at his baby shower was entirely unnecessary. I'm just going to go with Esh. You're not obligated to do anything for him. He is an adult but also someone you raised as your own. He sucks for the way he acts though, coming off as pretty ungrateful, but the eviction notice without a heads up was kind of an asshole move. I think a sit down and a chat with him would have been good to at least know where you stand with each other. Not the asshole. He chose to knock a girl up. He chose to disrespect you. He chose to pick a man who only came into his life after 2 years over you. You raised him for 20 years, kept a roof over his and his girlfriend's head while paying for his college. Only for him to start calling you by your name and his guy by the dad title. If he was smart, he would have realized that you don't crap where you lay and kept his mouth shut until he could afford it. I have a feeling that you talked to him about this or you kept your mouth shut because you wanted him to have a relationship with his dad. But, it's now on him to fix this situation. Not the asshole. Your son is disrespectful, you owe him nothing. Not the asshole. He is an adult and you do not owe him anything. Not the asshole. I wouldn't have any sympathy for an adult who was bringing a child into this world that couldn't take care of themselves. Not the asshole. I watched my ex desperately trying to win his bio dad's approval well into his 30s. Had abandoned him as a baby, only in his life once old enough to be interesting, being dismissive about the man who raised him and who paid for his education. As much as I could understand the daddy issues and the desire for approval, I could never get my head around how disrespectful it was to his stepdad. And his bio dad was still a selfish prat. Calling you by your first name is a low blow. Info. 1. Did you treat your eldest any differently once you found out the truth? 2. Did you also get a shirt with the term, "Grandpa," on it? 3. Have you ever spoken to your son about how it affects you when he calls you by your name? Just want some clarity before I make a judgment. Not the asshole. He doesn't see you as his father anymore, you don't owe him anything. Not the asshole. He has sort of made it clear to me that biology is more important than the man who raised him. You accepted him as your son and what he has done is throw that in your face. Fuck that noise. You are right to evict him and cut ties. He can ask bio dad to fund his life. What an asshole thing for ex-son to do. Info. Have you told him the name thing bothers you? I'm inclined to say grow the fuck up and use your words. You sound selfish, and like you're jealous that he cares about bio dad. It's okay for him to have a good relationship with bio dad. That doesn't take away anything from you. The way you did a 180 turn around on him is what makes you a huge asshole. By the way, the first name thing means nothing to me. My teenager does that to me sometimes. She also calls me mother in a teenager type tone. It doesn't friggin' matter to me. But if it bothers you, you should have told him that. Instead of being a dick about it. You are the asshole. Good parents don't solve problems by calling a lawyer. They have civil discussions with their child. No wonder he's keen to have a replacement for you. You sound awful. Not the asshole. You don't bite the hand that feeds. Once you found out it wasn't your child but the child of your wife's affair, you owed him nothing. Yet you stepped up. From your story we could be missing context as to why, and continued to raise this child to adult, paid for his tuition, and then when he made the mistake of getting his girlfriend pregnant you took her in. Your son repaid this kindness with that act. Let the Marine and the adulteress pick up the tab from here on out. Ta if you really gave an eviction notice as a present. Not the asshole. You raised him for his entire life and he's fully expecting you to do the dirty work, if you will, of being his father while treating you like his personal servant. He's being extremely shitty by expecting you to support him while shitting on you at every turn. You welcomed him into your home with a newborn on the way and he can't even act like you're also going to be a grandfather? So you get to be granddad number one while his baby cries all damn night but his real dad gets to step in for the rewarding parts? This is a grown adult man that made a grown adult choice to have a baby he couldn't care for. He can't even be grateful that you're helping him. You had raised that child as your own for 10 years and you wanted to get a DNA to see if you were biologically related, even though it appears you were planning to continue being their father regardless of the result. The behavior your son is exhibiting stems directly from you and your ex-wife. You can't control how he feels. He feels how he feels. If you are hurt by it and you want to be the adult and parent in the relationship, you and your son go to therapy. What you're doing doesn't fix anything. It leaves your son without an education, the mother of your grandchild unprepared, and your grandchild left in the dust economically. Not the asshole. You're not my real dad but give me money and pay for my family while I talk shit about you. Not the asshole. Simple. Wow, so much you are the asshole. Because you had no hesitation to kick out in such a cruel way someone you say you love as a son. This is not love. If you can so cruelly do it, what else have your behavior been communicating to him? Maybe he has been reaching out to biodad because you have been treating him badly. And the way a parent handle this is by sitting down with your child and talking it out. Not serving an eviction at his baby shower. At 20 years old, he is probably emotionally immature and just generally lost in life. He knocked up a girl and had the traumatic experience of finding out that the person he called dad his whole life is not his biological father. You were the dad for sure and you kinda sucked it up and kept the "I am not your father" thing secret for his benefit. I am sure that wasn't easy. And then hearing all of these things from him, also not easy. I might have had a talk with him first and explained, "Hey, I am your dad. I was there for you all these years, not him, and these things you say hurt," prior to kicking him out. You are the asshole for being passive-aggressive and going out of your way to hurt someone you supposedly care about. How hard is it to have a conversation with your son on how his actions make you feel? Did you ever try and tell him or let it show that it hurt you? Serving someone an eviction notice out of the blue is a bad move. Especially at a baby shower where I'm guessing you had guests. You are the asshole because you are the parent, the experienced adult who should be leading by example. What you did was a horrible demonstration of parenting. Did you bother to have a heart-to-heart conversation with your son regarding how his actions make you feel? How you feel like he's completely dismissed all of the time, effort, and love you've given him? You have every justification to feel extremely hurt by your son's words and actions, but that doesn't mean you get to respond however you please and not be in awe. You had the opportunity to be a fantastic parent and teach him that love and being a parent extends far beyond DNA, but instead you chose to be spiteful and retaliatory. So yes, you are the asshole C of how you handled this. You are right that he is being a little shit and calling his real dad, while you're paying for everything. But you should have talked this out with him first before throwing him and his girlfriend out. Nothing good will come out of this. IDK how bad the disrespect is, but do know it's an awkward situation. I think you should have a proper talk with him, and if I was you, definitely don't cut him off. Ask him how he views you and does he think you're his dad or what. For the sake of your other 3 kids, don't try cut him off. It will end badly on you. He will definitely try contact them and could easily try turn them against you, and you may be left with nobody. Have a serious conversation with him, ask him where you stand, and if he still loves you, sees you as his father, you need to apologize and forgive him and set some boundaries. Don't let this opportunity go. In years to come you will regret losing the boy you raised for 20 years over something so petty like this. Info. How did his mother tell him about his biodad, and do you think she would say you were the one that wanted to keep it a secret to try to cause issues? OBVs, it was an agreement so it wouldn't be true, but it might explain your son's behavior a little? However, all of this looks like you went nuclear over including his biodad, whether or not you had valid reasons, because you decided to communicate none of this directly to him. Of course he was blindsided. I have to ask, did you get a shirt with Grandpa written on it as well? You are the asshole. It seems like you wanted to hurt him by making a point of evicting him instead of giving him a present. You should have talked to him and expressed your feelings like an adult. Not the asshole. Your son doesn't view you as a father. He views you as a doormat and an open wallet. He's playing a stupid game by talking about you behind your back and obviously making it into some sort of contest between his biodad and yourself. Well, when you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. You are the asshole. That kid has been through the ringer, and the only steady male influence in his life just evicted him at a baby shower for his baby. Why doesn't my son like me? I only was blisteringly petty and humiliated him. Yeah, the kid sucks, but what did he have to work with here? Not the asshole. They're both adults now, and as he's made clear, unfortunately, you aren't dad anymore, so he can go to biodad for all his needs. I mean, where was biodad for all his life? Where was he when your wife cheated and you took on a child that wasn't yours? Clearly the son has the same shitty personalities of the true parents. Keep your head held high up, and focus on your kids who respect you.